Let's talk about the schedule. Brutal, as we've said. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. The Steelers start the season on the road in Atlanta, easy one. Then they go to Denver, easy one. Love back-to-back rivalry games. Wish Broncos were a primetime game. I thought that would have been a good one. They come home to face Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers, and I think that's another good one. And then the Colts, the Cowboys, the Raiders, the Jets, and the Giants round out the first half. I feel like that's a good stretch of games where if you're going to go into the season, you got a good opportunity to start this thing strong, win a couple of games, maybe start undefeated 3-4-0, feeling really good. And then from there, you come back, you play the Commanders, cool. Kind of like it's like a second bye almost. Awesome. Go to DC, have a good time. Beat Jaden Daniels, sounds good to me. Then it just gets absolutely ridiculous. You host the Baltimore Ravens. You go to the Cleveland Browns on Thursday Night Football. You come back home to play the Bengals. Then you stay home to, excuse me. You go to Cleveland on Thursday Night Football. You go to Cincinnati. Shouldn't even leave the city of Ohio or the state of Ohio. Then you come home and face Cleveland again. Then you go to Philadelphia. You go to Baltimore. And then 4 days later, you come back home to play the defending Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, on Christmas Day. A ridiculous game. Wednesday games should never happen. I'm sorry. Players will not be excited about this. I promise you. They will be more upset than they are happy. And then you finish the game or the season at home against the Cincinnati Bengals. You saw this. I mean, everybody says it. Oh, we saw the opponents. Yeah, you knew it was going to be tough. You didn't realize it was going to be this. You didn't realize the NFL was going to say, hey, guys, how bad can we make life for you? We're going to make it as brutal as humanly possible. Your thoughts when you saw a ridiculous back half to the schedule?
I could not believe it. I could not believe it at all. I mean, we saw the leaks coming out, and like you mentioned at the top of the show, we were looking at it and we're like, all right, piecing this together. Oh, that's back-to-back tough games. Oh, that's 3 straight tough games. Oh, their back half of the schedule is just a gauntlet. That's great. I mean, and a lot of people are saying, well, yeah, but the front half of the schedule is a little light. But okay, when have the Steelers ever had such a good front half that their back half didn't matter? Look at last season. They were what, 7-3, 7-4 throughout the first 11 games of the season. And it still came down to they need a lot of help at the end of the year, and they needed to win out. It's always the case with the Steelers. And if you need to win out and you're going Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs, Bengals, you're putting yourself in a rough position. Now, again, could they avoid that? Potentially. Yes, they could avoid that if they take care of business in the front half and they just maybe squeak by at 500 in the back half. But it is going to be a tough gauntlet no matter which way you split it. And there was a lot of very difficult opponents on the schedule to put them all back to back like that. And then the timing as well was just, 4 days between December 21st and December 25th with those two teams is ridiculous.
That crazy to play 3 games in 11-day stretch is just, it shouldn't happen. Like the NFL has to recognize what you're doing to people. Like you want to talk about Cam Hayward being 35 years old. You're thinking a guy like Cam Hayward, you're thinking a guy like, I don't know, name any Isaac Seumalo, Larry Ogunjobi, prime example. Dudes that go through injuries, who are veterans, who you could see just taking a toll on the NFL. Najee Harris was another one last season. You're telling me this stretch that you got to put them through now at the end of the season, they're going to be able to hold up? You're banking on a team being injured by the playoffs. That's what you're banking on. It's ridiculous. Should never happen, but that's a whole other conversation. I agree with you. This is a prime example, prime year. It's almost like the NFL sent a message to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Hey, pals, you better start winning the games that you're supposed to win, because if you don't, you're not going to make the playoffs. We're going to do everything in our power to make sure that Mike Tomlin's losing season finally happens, because you need to win the first half of your schedule. That's where the Steelers stand. If they don't go 4-0, maybe 5-0, this season could be bad right from the jump. And then, I get it. The front half's not terribly difficult, but the Cowboys aren't a nobody. The Colts aren't a nobody. The Jets aren't a nobody. You got teams there. I don't know what the Chargers are going to bring. I don't know what the Falcons are going to bring. I don't expect them to be immediate losses. I don't expect them to be losses at all, but I'm not saying that they're going to be easy games. The Steelers are in a situation where this is it. This is their biggest challenge I've ever seen as a Steelers fan, really. Growing up watching this team since I'm a little kid, look at the schedule and say, you cannot lose games you are supposed to win. You cannot do it. And if you do, your season could get as bad as it maybe has ever gotten.